Burgess and Bolton's weekly wrap-up. Hello, Ben.
Hi, Jeremy.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, in the Christmas spirit.
Like it?
In the COVID spirit. I mean, Christmas spirit.
Yeah, I know. It's been a bit like that already, hasn't it? With one thing or another.
Oh, terrible it's been. Yeah.
Anyway, welcome everybody to this week's edition of Burgess and Bolton's weekly wrap-up, where we are going to be wrapping up the year. It's our Christmas special. So on this show, we're going to be looking at our top 3 news stories for the year. We're going to highlight those. We've got our top 3 insurance people of the year. And we've also got 3 hopes and fears from people in the market. So we're going to play some little clips that we did earlier this week. And I'm sure you'll find those interesting. So...
Ho, ho, ho.
There we are, Ben. I've got rid of the seconds away there.
I did that without moving my lips.
Ho, ho, ho.
So let's do the first. Let's play the first clip, Ben. And this is our friend Bart Patrick, who's going to give us some hopes and fears for 2022. So here we go. If you want to mute your mic.
Okay, so it's a bit of a ramble as usual with me. Yeah, there are a number of things that sort of I hope and fear. I mean, the main thing I hope for next year is that Harlequins win the Premiership again. That's the main thing that I really hope for. And also to go skiing. That's pretty important too. But there are a number of things that hopes and fears all kind of mixed up into there. I really hope that the continued innovation in the market through the MGA market continues. I desperately hope that they can get capacity for 2021, 22 even, crikey, I've lost a year, for 22, and that they continue doing the good work in really innovating on behalf of the entire insurance market, which is really what they do. My fears for them is that this capacity is going to become increasingly hard and expensive to provide, and that we may be ending up towards that, what I'm going to call the energy moment, which has happened in the energy market when there's been an increase in costs and a restriction in supplies that have caused all of these small innovative energy companies to disappear. I desperately, again, hope that doesn't happen for the MGA market, because we need MGAs as an industry. So that's the main thing. The second thing there is I hope SMEs start to be able to get to cover for their businesses at a reasonable rate. And that some of the panic, excuse me, insurance, but I'm going to use the P word, panic, that occurred at the beginning of the COVID activity, and also the impact of increasing cyber claims, starts to go away as they get a grip on really what's causing these claims, because that's good for industry. And I really would like Lloyd's to find their transformation moment in 2022. I'd love it if Lloyd's came away and they had that moment of extreme clarity that transforms the Lloyd's market and turns it into the low-cost innovative place that writes global insurance that we all hope and want it to be. Finally, I hope this pandemic evaporates and disappears. You can't go through a discussion like this without mentioning it. I hope it just disappears and goes off into the ether, and we all suddenly can move on with our lives and forget about the whole thing around 2020 and 2021, and fingers crossed that's my hope, real hope for 2022.
I think we can all agree on that one, Bart. Lovely to see you. Have a great Christmas, and I'm sure we'll catch up in the new year.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody in the insurance market and associated markets, and thanks, Jeremy. Nice to speak to you.
Thanks, Bart.
Yeah. It's good. It was good. Good ideas there for next year. Yeah, the old MGA market. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. We've talked a little bit about that on the show, but perhaps we could put that on our to-do list for 2022.
Yeah, we haven't done much on MGAs. No, we should do. Yeah.
No, we shouldn't. So thanks for that, Bart. So let's move things on.
Ho, ho, ho.
Right. You're going to love it by the end. So let's do the first of our 3 news stories. We're going to do it in reverse order. So, Ben, I think you've chosen this one at number 3, which is Andrew Horton leaving Beazley and going to QBE. Something that we talked about actually when we were talking about the brand on the branding show a couple of weeks ago. We were saying that was a good move because there was a lot of opportunity we thought within QBE to do some of those things.
I think that's one of the biggest news stories of the year. I mean, I was surprised, I suppose, as a lot of people were, that it happened. It was a very, very interesting move. I think both for Andrew Horton, who I think has done a great job at Beazley, but also for QBE, which I think has struggled with leadership. I don't think anybody would disagree with that over the last few years, and needs to be needs to have things done strategically with the business overall around the world. But so I think it's a very big move for the insurance industry, because I think Andrew will do things at QBE, and QBE is a global player, an important player, and I think it can be a major contributor. So to have, I suppose for me, to have someone like Horton heading up QBE is really pleasing, because he's good. And he said all he has to do is sort out the culture and values, and the rest is straightforward.
Yeah, indeed. And we've talked about that on the show a lot, especially over the last 18 months, of being the real essence of organizations. And it's where you'll find the competitive advantage, and those organizations that move from being great to good, in the immortal words of whoever wrote the book. I'm sure it'll come to me.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, good.
Ho, ho, ho.
Right, let's play the next clip. So this next clip is with John Muir, and he's got a number of presents that he would like delivered. So let's hear from John. So, John, what are your hopes and fears for 2022?
Well, Jeremy, as you can see, I've got my Santa hat on, and Santa doesn't do fears. He only does hopes. So I've got 6 modest hopes for 2022. I don't spend a lot of time reflecting backwards. I like to go forwards, but here are my 6 hopes.
Ho, ho, ho.
They're simple ones. I hope that the faster claims payments future at Lloyd's initiative could actually go faster. My second hope is that I hope that the working group who've been involved with the insurance premium tax tool solution for the future at Lloyd's stop prevaricating. They've been prevaricating for about 4 years, and appoint TMF, who've got the only credible IPT tax tool, so that we can actually get on with it.
Ho, ho, ho.
My third hope is that Deloitte succeed with the next gen PPL platform, which provides a better user experience for our placing brokers and for the underwriting communities. And also it provides a fantastic quotation functionality. My fourth quote, they're very modest. Santa has only got modest hopes. As regards,
very good.
Yeah. As regards, my next hope is that with the work that's been done on CDR or the IMRC and the Data Council, that the actual work can be agreed upon by the summer, because we need to stop talking and get on with it. My fifth hope Oh dear, this is quite a sincere hope. Paul Brady is a friend of mine. The work on DDM and DCOM, it used to be known as DA Sats and Chorus. You should always worry when they rename these initiatives because you know it's not a good story. So my wish for that initiative is that they don't rename DDM or DCOM.
Right.
And my last wish is that, as regards the Lloyd's Insurance Company Brussels Brexit solution, that the obligations are simplified and actually work this time round.
Very
That's
good.
all that Santa asks for. And I obviously want everything. I don't want to get to Christmas of 2022 without having all these presents opened and me being able to enjoy them.
Excellent. Thank you ever so much, as always, John. Wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Jeremy, happy Christmas to you, and wish Ben a very happy Christmas from me as well.
Will do.
Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Always amusing and to the point.
He doesn't want much. He doesn't want much, does he?
I love
He's like the kid who wants every single thing in the shop.
Yeah. Faster claims payments to just go faster.
Yeah, brilliant. I thought John was going to ask for world peace at the end there as well.
Yeah.
He stopped short of that small gift.
Yeah. I think that's just an assumption we all make.
I must say that John is obviously a man after my own heart. And happy Christmas to you, John, if you're listening either in real time or after. The point about these acronyms is really good, actually, because we're just getting fed up and we're going to have an acronyms campaign.
Yeah, you reminded me actually, Ben, that we actually, when we first started Burgess and Bolton, one of the things that we did was a glossary of terms and what do all these ridiculous terms really mean, and we should go back to that because they're not getting less or fewer, they're getting more. So anyway, exactly. Very good. Thank you very much, John.
Ho ho ho!
And let's move on. What's the next thing? Okay, we're going to do the next news story. So our second biggest news story of the year is the Aon Willis merger being called off, and that was big. And actually, to be fair, you called that fairly early on in the.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Jeremy. Because I did talk about it, and therefore, it wasn't perhaps as surprising, and that's why we had quite a debate about whether this should go number one news story or number two news story. I think it's number two for two reasons. One, I think it began to become obvious that would happen. It still was, a massive story when it did happen, and obviously the $1 billion payout and all that sort of thing was very interesting. And the subsequent, shift in the market of Willis Re's going to Gallagher's, so that creates another massive player in the market, and so on and so forth. So it has had its ramifications, and there's a lot of change at Aon at the moment. But I think it was if it had happened, it would have been the biggest story. It hasn't happened, so it's not quite the biggest story. But it's it certainly is a marker for the future around consolidation and what can and can't happen in that broking market. Having said that, there's been a lot of consolidation going on anyway, so it's not stopped. No way has it stopped.
And I think it's really interesting just how those organizations are going to react to that, in terms of their growth strategy going forward. I think they'll need to focus a bit more internally now and go, okay, well, what can we do? And that's where our conversations around kind of purpose and people and culture, and then also technology. We talk quite a lot about technology and the way it can drive innovation and it can enable business processes. It's not the silver bullet, but it's part of the mix.
I think I was just going to say, I think changing the broking market is what drives a lot of what happens ultimately in the insurance market nowadays. And I think obviously the changes that will be made as a result of that not happening, and some of them are very visible, like the sale of Willis Re, but others are more, as you say, internal around the strategies of the business. And my understanding is that Greg Case has, and you can see there's a lot of management change going on there. So these things don't stand still. They almost are accelerants to the next phase, which I hope, as you talk about, is more about innovation. And we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. So let's move on to our number one news story, which is COVID. And we were umming and ahhing about which one should be number one, but we came back with COVID because it seems to will have such a permanent impact on the industry. And if you look about the way that organizations were working before COVID and now how they're working and flip-flopping, we're working at home, now we're back in the office. Now, as we sit here now, most of the offices are closed and people are working from home again. It really has kind of changed people's mindset around what work is, how you perform your job, how you use technology to enable a different approach to that. And in some ways it's been good because it's taken out some of the mundane stuff. I think we spoke to Miles Davis. Miles Banks.
He's dead. Miles Davis, he's dead. He was a great jazz musician, but he's not anymore around. Unless he's the ghost of Christmas past.
Sorry to break that to all our viewers. But, not Miles Davis, Miles Banks.
I think if it had been Miles Davis, I think I'd done a little more than one LinkedIn post on it today.
Yeah. But he was talking about, that it had streamlined a lot of things because people were there, they were able to react very quickly, they were using technology to do some face-to-face stuff. It's not very good for the creative conversations, but it's very good for working through an agenda and moving processes forward. So that's why I think we put it at number one, because we don't know how it's going to pan out in the future either.
Yeah, I think it's gone on for a long time, and we've now, I think on several occasions, you've had to flip the switch between work from home entirely, work from home, work back to office, and then hybrid working. And I think that all of the research, all of the things, all the people I've been speaking to, you can tell they've accommodated this into their working practices already. So I don't think that's going to change. And that's everybody from young to more, older, more senior, junior. So you can tell that's the case. I think what it will be start to revolve around next year, I think, is what's the role of technology in this user space, because it's technology has hitherto, I think, been about one-off products, modeling, infrastructure type things as well, obviously. But I think we're starting to move, John mentioned it there around PPO, we should be moving into a space now where the tools for the job are always important, but they're important now when people are working from home. So, can you trade? Can you quote risks when you're just, walking into work, or you're in your kitchen, or you're on the train, or you're in the office? You need to have this fluidity. So I think there is more of a recognition, I think, particularly among the brokers, that this kind of technology now is going to be part of their lives. And I did some research recently where many of the people I spoke to, their first offering in the conversation was to say, this is the time for more technology now. So I think it's potentially good for that. And you always need a trigger for it, really. So but it's a change that's forever. Yeah,
it is. And the impact. Yeah, and we think back to how the London market used to operate a lot of face-to-face, a lot of people walking around. And I was in town yesterday and it was very, very quiet. And you just wonder, will it ever go back to kind of the old days, or how is that going to pan out? It's just very interesting, and nobody really knows.
Yeah, I think the face-to-face is, everybody knows that now. It's not even worth saying that it's really, really important, but we don't have to have it all the time. So there's a balance that needs to be achieved and will be achieved over time. Technology will be part of that. I think that's the deal. I think it's a challenge for leadership because they'll want, and particularly for people performance, because you have to change a lot of the rules and the perceptions of people and trust and all sorts of things, which I don't think are easy. But we'll work it out.
Yeah, good.
Ho, ho, ho.
Right, let's move things on. Never get bored of that, actually.
It's good, yeah.
So we've got our final hope and fears video. So let's play this. It's Jonathan Clark, formerly of Score, now working as an independent consultant. Always great to talk with Jonathan. So let's play the clip.
Well, I think it's been a very tough year. And so I suppose my main hope looking ahead into 2022 is that we can all get back to working together face to face. And the reason I want us to work face to face is I think that if we do that, it gives us the best chance of innovating. And I really look forward to that coming together again. And it's sad at this time as we find ourselves working at home. Perhaps my biggest fear, though, is that we forget to invest in our people. It's been a very challenging time. There's a lot going on. And for me, it's just about making sure that everybody has the skills that we're going to need as we go forward. So my fear is we forget to do that. And I hope we don't. Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Happy Christmas and a good New Year.
Merry Christmas. Thanks for all your input this year.
My pleasure. And we'll see you soon. Cheers then.
Cheers.
Bye.
A nice segue into the people section of our show. It's almost like we planned it. It's great for Jonathan to remind us of that. We talk a lot about on this show about the people, purpose, culture, and innovation. And I think we've come to the conclusion that innovative conversations are better when they take place in person, face to face. Often you find those sparks of innovation not in the meeting, but after the meeting when you're just chatting over a cup of coffee and somebody says something, and then the ideas come out and it evolves. So I couldn't agree more with what he was saying, really.
No, I agree. I mean, I think that those two, the hope and the fear there, they're sort of part and parcel of the same thing, which is it's all about people in the end. And that's true of everything we look at. The rest of it is an enabler to something. So it's, it's important. And we've got, I think the other thing is the sort of shortage of talent at the moment. So that investment in people is a great thing to talk about. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much, Jonathan, for taking part. Right. Let us talk about our people of the, what are we calling this? People of the Year Awards.
Yeah. Insurance People of the Year.
Missed the fist pump. Right. So let's do it in, we're doing it in reverse order.
Yeah.
Okay. So in at number 3, we are going to say it's Caroline Wagstaff. So we've talked to Caroline, new CEO of the LMG, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what we like about what she's doing there is, firstly, she's actually doing something. Things are happening. She's very, very clear and articulate in what she wants to do, which is looking at some of those people challenges that we talked about, bringing new talent into the industry, and not just talking about it, but actually doing it. So she developed the website with the information on, trying to break down some of these very complicated from the outside world phrases and things like that. So just making insurance more accessible for people.
I think also what I like, I mean, because this is a people kind of award that we're doing here, is Caroline has pulled together what I felt was quite a fuzzy sort of agenda for LMG, and also got the people, those senior people on that LMG board behind that agenda, and she's kept it to very clear issues, and that's exactly what you should do. So she's got government lobbying and talent and so on. So these things are they're both very important, but she has really set out clearly the stall and the talent piece in particular. You know, you and I have seen the website that's been set up for attracting talent into the market, and she spoke very well at an event that we ran a few weeks ago about that. So this is the important point, is that articulating things, as you say, very clearly, and repeating that and reinforcing that, but also that in the first place, she's set a very clear and relevant agenda for that group. And I think now that the LMG has a place in the market, whereas I don't think I would have particularly said that before. I was always doubtful about its influence, but now I think it's good. And so hats off to Caroline for that.
Yes. So here's a round of applause. Here we are. Thanks everybody. And there goes Caroline as she walks off the stage. Unfortunately, she wasn't available to give a speech, but she didn't know she was going to win it. But there we are.
Nice.
So next is Andrew Horton, who's already featured in our top news, one of our top news stories, but comes in at number 2, probably for the same reasons, Ben, as he's in the news. You know, he's an industry figure that is, you know, making change happen. It made change happen at Beazley, and you can see it in the statement that he put out only a few weeks ago that we featured on the show, that he clearly looks at people and purpose when he's in his role at QBE.
Yeah, I think it's also because it's a brave move. It's it's very decisive. You know, he obviously had a very comfortable job at Beazley, done a good job, but not satisfied with that. He's gone for something big and challenging, fantastic. You know, same with Caroline. The people aren't these aren't people who are settling down to say, oh, just drift off. They're actually doing some big things and making their mark, at the peak of their career. So that's fantastic, really good. And he is such a great operator that and has been at Beazley. So I wish him well. I think, and he's a good guy.
Well done, Andrew. Right. Right, so this brings us to our number 1 on our list of 3 top people in insurance, and that is going to go to Stephen Catlin. Stalwart of the industry, but still around, and just look what he's done over the last few years. Quite incredible, really.
Well, I think all of this is about what we're talking about is people here who are making change happen. To be fair, Andrew hasn't yet done it at QBE, so maybe that's slightly previous, but he has done a great job at Beazley. And I think just making the move has been a big thing. But on to Stephen. Wow. I mean, what a brand he's built very quickly there. He's put people, values, culture right at the front of that business. He's done it through the lockdown. We know he's recruited and over 300 people. This is a statement of a business. I mean, it's incredibly confident, and it's incredibly kind of brave as to how this has been built out. And he's got the backing for it. And I can tell you that the research is reading well for the business. This isn't just a sort of fast growth, flash in the pan. This is good quality people. They've had some tailwinds which have helped them, I think, which is the market, which he has said publicly, just can't believe how lucky he is, and that's a timing issue. But even so, he's just built out something that now is on a kind of real journey, a real trajectory, as they say, and it's incredible, really. I mean, and to have done that again with to be fair, Paul Brando and that whole team there, and I've been lucky enough to have a nice lunch with Stephen about a month ago, which was great. And he also is a good person, I think, for articulating in a really good plain English way what the industry is about. And one of the things that I think is going to be important in the general innovation, there was a paper by AM Best came out this morning saying that the insurance industry and the reinsurance industry now should be at the forefront of innovation around risk in the world and climate change and things like that. So I think Stephen is one of those heavyweight people now in the industry who can do that, and I trust him to do the right thing in that as well. So yes, he's done a great job, and I don't think if this was like a proper massive great big awards ceremony, I don't think people would begrudge that or say that we were wrong. I think people could follow off the back of what he's doing very well.
And I'm always impressed that he always returns when he's interviewed. He always tries to return back to the purpose of the organization, the people, the culture. It's what we do internally, and it's what we do externally, and that's it. So yeah, I agree, and so well done. So that concludes the awards for this evening.
So if you win an award and you don't know you've won it, is that like the tree falling down in the forest? Does it make a sound?
Yeah, I don't actually. Yeah, who knows? How many awards have you not won, or how many awards have you won and not known about?
Oh, in my dreams, I've won lots. I'm winning them all the time.
Yeah.
I'm always getting them. I'm always walking up onto stages and doing speeches where I thank everybody. But the reality is far from that situation, Jeremy, sadly.
Yeah, I know it too well.
Ho, ho, ho.
Right, let's move things on. So we are going to give our hope and fear for 2022. I'll go first, Ben, because I would really, my hope, I suppose, is that we really start to move the dial on technology and innovation. So there's been so much talk about how this technology or data or some smart automation, whatever else, can really help the industry. But actually, there's been very little done in practice. And I think I'd really like to see some more case studies of people grabbing hold of the tech and moving it forward, because I do think, I agree with Bart. He came on once or on Tin Tech, and I think he said, when technology works, it's just good for the soul. It makes you feel good, when it works, and it helps. It does help the creative process, I think. So I would like to see some real moves forward on that front. That's what I'm hoping for, anyway.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, really, I can't disagree with any of that. So, John, my hope now.
Yeah.
I've got to put a quick one in. So, Leeds United to stay in the Premier League, which is a bit dodgy at the moment, but that's, just I'd be disappointed if that didn't come about. But my fundamental hope for the insurance market is similar, I think, to Jonathan Clark's, which is for a less disrupted year where we can have innovation flourishing. I think that it is the time now for the market to innovate, and we've got to step up to that now. So I think that the removal of some of that disruption, as Bart was saying, will help. I think it will still be disrupted, but let's start doing some of that stuff, because I think there's a head of steam and I think people want it.
Yeah. Very good. Great. Mike, so my fear is, like everyone else, that this damn virus keeps re-emerging in a different form and does cause that disruption. But I also hope that if at the end of this time next year, if it looks like the end of the virus and we start to slip back to those old way of working, I really don't want that to happen. I think there's a massive opportunity to be grasped in terms of moving things forward. So it's to my original point, really, my hope that there is a danger that people go, oh, we're all back to normal, right? Get your paper and into Lloyd's or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it's a diminishing fear, but I think it's still there, niggling at the back of my mind.
Yeah. So mine is not dissimilar, but it is about COVID, but it's about the tendency of people to use it as an excuse for not doing things. And yeah. I've seen it coming through in research. I've seen it happening reality. And I think we've read about it in the press that this situation becomes an excuse for everything. We stand back from it. We've not, we've had some disruption and some difficulties, yes, but actually we can get on with things. So I think it's like we've got to get on with things. We must get on with things, and that's where the hope should lie, really, not in sort of wallowing a bit in this. And I think because the insurance industry has, is a kind of bureaucratic, institutional business, there's a tendency for that to be able to take hold, which is we can't do anything because of this. That's not true. So I want that can-do attitude to survive. I fear, though, there may be quite a lot of caution and overly cautious stuff. So maybe people think I'm a bit libertarian about that, but I actually think we should and can get on with things.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. This is the last show. So we will see you in the new year. Happy Christmas, Ben. And,
Happy Christmas, Jeremy. Yeah, hope you get all the presents you want. And thanks for all your help. I mean, those clips today were, just great. And you have a real talent for all that stuff. So thank you.
The production values of the
production
show.
Values. That today you shone, and
wow.
I can't say that you always have, but now I think you come good at the end of the year. That's the thing. That's what I was hoping, and I'm
like an
so
out
grateful.
of form striker right at the end of the season.
Yeah, you got in the 6-yard box today.
That's good. To be fair, we were starting from a very, very low base. So
that is true. But we've come on leaps and bounds, and next year when we get into that big studio, we're going to do some out and abouts, aren't we? We're going to do some. Yeah. I'm hoping for a microphone as a present for Christmas, so I can go out and about with you.
Great. I'm looking forward to
that. We'll grab the man in the street.
Excellent. Right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for all your contributions in the course of the year, and we will see you next year.
Yeah. Happy Christmas, everybody. Tune in for the first show of the new year.
Bye-bye.
Bye.